Welcome back to the All Things Renewables podcast. I am Leam da Silva, the head of Subsea here at LSP. So today I'm here with a very special guest, Peter Nuttall. Peter Nuttall has done everything imaginable, from submarine rescues to cable work to offshore wind. And he's here today to tell us a few stories and give a little bit of advice. So thank you for coming today, Pete. It's
pleasure.
Very, very great to have you here. Obviously, I know, very busy man these days.
Not really at all. No, I'm retired. No, it's good to be here.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, how long is it that you've been in the industry for now?
It is forever. I started going offshore when 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down.
Wow.
So it'd be 1990 when I started with Oil States. Yeah. Yeah. So I was there. I was in Germany for a year, in a factory in Germany, and I'm sure I never applied for the job. I think my wife might have applied for the job, and I got a phone call. Would I go to Oil States? And that's how it all started.
Wow.
And I did 7 years there, and then I worked for Mr. Chapman at Rumik and worked for him for 10 years. And then, everything in between. And then the Octopus and Paul Allen for the past nearly 20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Amongst other things.
It is. It's really fascinating, I suppose. So how, obviously you said your wife basically applied for the job.
I'm sure I never applied for the job, but I think she wanted me home. I'd been away for 6 months. So.
Wow.
I hadn't been home for 6 months. So I've done 6 months, come back, had another 6 months.
Is it an industry you kind of always wanted to get into? What was the thought process to go into it?
So when I worked for Oil States, it was office space.
Yeah.
So it was all go offshore, do the job, come back, build the thing, test the thing, design the thing even later on, and then go offshore and use it. And I just had enough. I was never at home. Brilliant job, loved the job.
Yeah.
But it was just too much. So I thought, well, I'll just go offshore. I'll just do the offshore. So it was like time on, time off, ha ha ha. So you just think, well, I'll just go away for 6 weeks and then I'll have 6 weeks off. And that's really never happened. I don't think in my entire life I've ever done like a 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off thing. But it suits me and it suits my family, and it certainly paid me mortgage for.
Suppose no day's really different. No 2 days are the same, should I say?
No, that's what I enjoy. The fact that you go through every job is different.
Yeah.
You quite often go onto a ship where you know no one.
Of course, yeah.
So and it's obviously you go on ships that you've meeting your old mates that you haven't seen for years, and that's fantastic. Well, you make friends. You just go into a job and you just go, well, I'm here for 6 weeks or wait 8 weeks or 12 weeks, whatever it is, and you go, I'll just make the best of it. You might fall out with the first person you meet and go, but generally not. And if you notice my email Seasiders, right, and that comes from the great Charlie Parry quote of Seasiders and Shoresiders. And people that go to sea are very honest. And they have to be, because if nobody's a thief offshore. Of course. Because you'd be caught. Yeah. And you'd be, So basically, and he always said, you leave your wallet on the crew mess, someone will come, excuse me, mate, you've left your wallet on it. Right. Now that wouldn't happen in a pub in.
No, it's not. No, that's not going to happen in the pub.
There's Seasiders and Shoresiders. You can always trust Seasiders. Doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter what part of the world they're from. They're honest people. Yeah. Because if they weren't honest, they'd be caught and they'd be gone.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. It's because you are offshore with these people for so many weeks at a time, there's got to be that camaraderie there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's instant. It's instant because you work together, you live together. Quite often you sleep together. You know what I mean? Yeah. You sleep in the same cabin, Yeah,
because otherwise I suppose you're going to feel quite isolated you're on a ship where, you know, there's people are getting
Well,
along.
you can do, and if you're of that ilk, then going offshore is not for you. You know what I mean? And I've had people that, you know, people I don't like it, and they've spent that many thousands on courses and all the rest of it, and certificating themselves up, and they get offshore and they don't like it, and it's like, well, sorry mate, but this is the life, you know. And back in the day, I mean, now it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was no phone calls, there was no internet, there was nothing. You know, basically, the minute you set sail, that was it. Anything could happen. You would never know about it.
Of course.
You know, there was a shortwave radio that, you know, and a VHF radio sort of once a week that would patch you through to you, you know, for a 10-minute phone call that was awful because all your mates could listen in on it. So yeah, you know, it's
yeah. So I suppose,
you know,
technology.
so now technology's moved on and it's great, and there's, you know,
yeah, it's a little bit easier.
And it's quite recent, the internet. You know, it's not until really Starlink that the internet was really readily available at high speed to the crew. You'd have a bit. You'd be able to do emails. You'd be able to do a little bit. But no, not, you know, the technology moves on. It
does. That's one thing that I still hear about, I suppose, is internet access and stuff. And it's a point that I know we've spoken about before, actually, on the podcast, is clients helping with the isolation and companies helping with it by moving with technology, moving with installing the internet for free and things. Massive, you know, it's a massive emotional thing. You know, I mean, basically, in back in the day, you became two people. You literally had to take the wife and kids out of the head. Wow.
And go right there, put them to one side and put the work head on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and my wife regularly, you know, if the kids got injured, she wouldn't tell me.
Wow.
You know, if the kid, I remember my daughter breaking her arm, and my wife just like, she didn't tell me till I got home.
Jesus. I suppose because she wants you to stay there and make your money, really.
It's like, and again, you know, you'd have your 10-minute phone call, and you'd have a row, right? And then for a week, you'd be, oh, this is the end of the marriage, la la la, and a week later, you'd phone her up, she wouldn't even remember it. It's like, what are you on about?
Oh God!
You know what I mean? You mulled over. You're like, oh, you know, la la. This is awful. I said, you know, said the wrong thing. La la la. Well, yeah.
Wow. It is. It's the isolation and the.
Yeah.
It's all very, very tough. And I suppose, like you said, you do the long jobs. I mean, these days, if you know you were to get back out there, would you prefer a long job or a short one?
It all depends. I mean, to be fair, I've done that many long jobs. It really doesn't matter. You know, and again, I still do put my work head on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old school enough to go, bye dear. And she's old school enough to go, bye dear. You know what I mean? She's lived her life.
Yeah.
You know, separate from my life for most of her life. You know, basically it's you must have heard the Father Christmas syndrome. Right? No. Because what happens is when you go away, your wife is a single parent. Right? You come home, you've got all the time in the world. Right? Yeah. You want to be your kids. You want to take your kids out. Right? You want to go on holiday. You become Father Christmas.
That's genius.
It is. And you have to be very, very careful because in a few weeks' time, you've gone again. She's a single parent again, having to put up with.
Yeah.
Well, why aren't we going to Disneyland?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to see it from this perspective.
You have to be very careful with it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, especially for the lads getting into it. I mean, something I want to speak about later is obviously the advice for the young lads coming into this industry, because God knows we need some of the younger lads to come into the subsea and the ROV stuff.
I've not that long ago, I was, you know, on a sub rescue job a few years ago, but not that long ago. And you know, I started 35 years ago as the boy on the squad, and I was still the boy on the squad. You know, it's like how. You know,
it is. It's crazy.
It is. And everyone is getting older, and it's time for the kids. You know.
It is, and I think that's one of the things that we struggle with as an agency, and we know that the clients struggle with it as well, is bringing people over to this side. I think there may be easier paths. Some might say there's easier paths in the industry.
It's hard, again, going back to coming from the offshore, going to the cable industry.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what the cable industry was. I went from the offshore, which certainly on rigs is not. It's not that good a work. You know, it's hard work. It's well paid. It's well, and there's, but in the cable work, it's a good laugh.
Yeah.
You know, because it's for longer, right? If it's not for 2 weeks, the longer the trip, the better the crew, because they all settle in.
Yeah.
And you settle in, and some people I've worked with, you know, once for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and they're my mates for life. You know, I've kept in touch with them for, you know, forever.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, that's the difference, and it does make you more appreciate people from, you know, I'm a big internationalist because I've worked with everybody from every country in the world, and I don't see any difference between anyone. Again, apart from the seaside and shoreside. You know, anyone that goes to sea is inherently honest.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore a friend, and therefore, you know, you're a friend before I've met you, because you're a co-conspirator in the offshore tiger world. Of
course, yeah, and I think it takes like you said, it takes a specific type of person to do these jobs.
I think you get used. It does. There are times it's very hard.
Oh yeah.
There are times it's very hard, but there are far more times when it's absolutely fantastic. You know, you can go out at the end of a shift and watch the sun go down, and and on a beautiful calm night, and you go, this is pretty. You know, or watch the dolphins, and or Antarctica, or I've done Bikini Atoll. Wow. You know, we had the most people in Bikini Atoll that they've had since the Americans left, and that's just paradise. It's the most paradise place on the planet, and I would never have got to see that if I didn't do what I did. So I'm very grateful. You know, I've always said, you know, I've everything. You know, I'm very, very grateful for the work. It's been fantastic, and it's surprising because you get to places that you think you'd never ever get to, and you think, all the wonderful places, but also some of the places you think, God, that's the backhold of whatever, and you get there and you go, actually, I really like it here. You know, I like the people. Yeah, it's a bit rough, but you know, and you go like, you know, countries, and there's a sort of rule that the poorer you are, the happier you are. Yeah, and I do actually believe that's true. I think there's a point, especially like South Pacific Islands. They have nothing. You know, they have enough money to buy a bit of fuel for their outboard. That's the only money. You know, they do a bit of fishing. Yeah, and they sit under in the huts with no running water, with no electricity, or electricity off a battery or off a little generator, or something. Nothing great. Yeah, and they sing songs, and they think, I love it. These people have got it. They're the people that have got it made. You know, they're the happiest people in the world. You never see them frown. The kids run round. Yeah. You know, you think, yeah, that's better than the billionaires that I've worked with.
That's the thing. It's like you said, if you weren't in this industry, you wouldn't have got to experience that. And I mean,
I've been around the world. I've done every country that has a sea.
Wow.
You know what I mean? In fact, one year I was refused life insurance because I'd done 55 countries that year. So I'd done more countries than one a week. And like when I went, because you fill in a form and it says, where have you been for the last 12 months? Yeah. And I thought, well, I can't lie because it's an insurance thing. I literally had to go back through the diary and go, oh shit, yeah, I was there for, do I count that? I was only there for a day. I suppose I better add because it's cleared in, it's in my passport.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I suppose in terms of the type of work within, the subsea world, then obviously I know you've mentioned your oil and gas, and that is becoming less and less. So
Yeah.
we're seeing obviously a boom in
Yeah, it's the same work for us.
yeah.
So if you're an ROV pilot, it doesn't matter whether it's, wind or solar or anything. If it's at sea and it's underwater, it's work. It's cable industry. There's no the work's no different for us. You know what I mean? So it's probably a bit more pleasant. It's not as dirty or as dangerous.
Yeah, the ships are a bit nicer and things
exactly.
like that these days.
Everything's a bit nicer. The conditions are nicer. That you don't have oil rigs flaring off, and and they're always dirty, horrible places. So. They're awful.
I suppose
I've done about 5 or 6 jobs on oil rigs and never enjoyed any of them.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Done it for favours for people that.
Oh yeah, we all ask we all ask you favours.
We know. Go, all right then, just this once. We're absolutely. That used to be my title. We're absolutely desperate. Oh no. And you do it. I know you do it.
Oh yeah, I do that about once a week. I think at this rate. Oh, I'm really desperate. Please help.
But again, it does. It's what happens.
It is, and I think that's the good thing about kind of you guys as well in the subsea industry, because it is so small and niche. Yeah, is we get a really good relationship with you compared to maybe some other. It's the number. Industry. You get to know anyone who's been if you're in the industry, anyone who's been in the industry or around it. And not been on one specific job. There's plenty of people get one job and they stick with one company and they never move and they go on the same. And I was never into that. Yeah, it was all a great big adventure. And that was that was the 13-year-old Filipino cable engine driver on the Agile, Boy Max. We had this Filipino cable engine driver who retired. And we got his replacement. And honestly, he looked like, you are 13, aren't you? He went, no, I'm 19. I don't think you are. Anyway, so we had to believe him. Yeah. So after, the Filipinos called him boy. We said, we can't call you boy because that's derogatory. Yeah. We cannot call you boy. What's your Christian, what's your given name? Maximilian, right? Well, we'll call you Max. So it deferred to Boy Max. Yeah. Like Mad Max, but Boy Max. And we'd been there for 3 months. And we were all going home. And he had another 3 months to do because they did 6 months and 3. So they had 6 months on, 3 months off. We'd actually just done the 3 months. We'd been out to do a trip. Yeah. And so, well, Max, what do you think of it? What do you think of us, the life? And he said, it's all just a great big adventure. And it is, that's exactly what it is. Wow. And that's how you look at it. You just go, well, I might not like it, but it'll teach me something, I'm sure. And it is, it's just an adventure. It's not something I've ever really heard it put in that way, I suppose, because a lot of people, I suppose, see it as work. But
people try and take it seriously. I understand that, but it's not, there's a serious side to it. Yeah, it's like getting involved with submersibles. Yeah, I say. Submersibles is a lot more serious. Of course. In fact, it's a million times more serious. Yeah, because you have to go. Yeah, this matters now. Everything has to be right. Where ROVs, you go, I'll be right. You do the checks and you make sure that's what. Yeah, because again, without doing your checks, you just build it at work. Because again, something will go pop, and where it would take you 5 minutes to sort out before it went pop, now it takes you 2 days. Yeah, and you've got you're on that deck working your pan out in the sweltering sun because you didn't take 5 minutes. Yeah, to do a little check and make sure that that was right.
Wow. So talking about big adventures, obviously you've been in the game for a nice long while now, but what is the first project you can remember ever doing?
The first one for Rumik was the Agile, which was the one where we threw the mattresses in the dock, and Yeah, and I was told I was joining Cable and Wireless's new ship,
Yep.
the CS Agile, in Middlesbrough, and it was an ex-Russian submarine hiding vessel that basically was just a dry dock with a bow on the front. And if you stood on the back bridge where the old Russian KGB end of the bridge, you could watch the bow do that and the stern do that, because there was no bulkheads in it.
Wow.
It was, and that was my introduction to cable work. That was the this is rather strange. From coming from the oil and gas where everything was regulated and sorted, and it was that great big adventure.
Yeah, and I suppose
and it was pirates of the North Sea, really. You know, we were just everything was up for grabs and we took it. You know, but I mean, it's changed. It has changed now, but not for the better, I don't think. But anyway, it's better regulated and it's certainly a lot safer. So.
That's what it is. It's the safety, the technology's come, but I think there is a difference in. Yeah, it's the fun and the adventure of it. Maybe that's been lost kind of along the way a little bit.
It's I think it's changed. Yeah, but I don't think it's changed for the worst. It's changed because things change. Yeah, you know, things. You know, we you know, they used to put us in horrendous situations which you don't really get now, because communications are a lot better, and you know, weather forecasting's a lot better, and you know. Things like that, but no. I mean, the you know, I've had from submarine rescue work, which again is fantastic, to working for billionaires. You know, we had a fifth of the world's wealth on one submarine dive. From to good old-fashioned cable laying. You know, with my mates and just having a laugh on the back deck and, you know, getting through it.
So, I suppose all these ones you've done, you've mentioned the difference in jobs you've done from the cable work to the sub rescue. What are your most memorable kind of jobs that you've done?
The biggest one, I suppose, is the rescue of the man sub off Kamchatka. Yeah. Which was pretty spectacular, and it was full of fantastic people. Everyone who, you know, contributed, from the Russians to the Americans to the, you know, it was back in the. I don't know if it was back in the day when the world was a happier place, but it certainly, you know, the Russians got themselves stuck on a sonar array. Yeah. And 7 of them in a man sub doing a training exercise, and it was very similar to our LR5 or. You know, our rescue boats. Yeah. And we flew into Kamchatka on a C-17, where the RAF didn't know they could land. They flew non-stop, right? Whereas the Americans stopped for fuel. The RAF, big heroes, didn't stop at all. Flew non-stop. But what it meant was, if the Russians didn't let them in, or if they couldn't land, we were going into the sea. They didn't tell us that. They only told us that on the way home. Wow. So we were like, ooh. And again, you know, utter bravery from them lads. And we went out, we did a 3-hour dive. We managed to cut them free. They were rescued, brilliant, you know, 7 people alive. Fantastic job, you know. Went off to the secret Russian naval base, where again, you know, we did our usual, you know, can we take photographs? And they're like, you know. And we went into this big meeting with Sergei Ivanov, the Russian defense minister, who had been sent because of the Kursk. He'd been sent to oversee this. Yeah. And because basically it was a success, whereas the Kursk wasn't. And again, it was all the Kursk. Whether we could have done something at the Kursk, who knows? But if they told us at the start, we'd have had a much better chance. And the lads the sub-pilots at the time would have definitely had a go. You know, they would have tried their best. They would have, you know, done seriously misguided things to get it done. Whereas we, you know, again, you're with an ROV.
Yeah.
So you're not putting yourself in any danger. Wonderful thing. Went to this base. Scariest person in the world. He's, you know, in front of the cameras he spoke Russian. Blah 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 blah. And then the press went, and we were talking away, and all of a sudden he's talking like we're talking now. He's talking with the Barrow accent.
Wow.
Right? And I went, you scare me. He went, good, I should. And he was like, he was a brilliant guy, lovely guy, you know, but you think, how? And apparently, I think he was Putin's boss in the KGB before Putin rose to the top.
My God, I mean,
yeah.
It's funny because
then we got the medal. We went to 10 Downing Street and we got, there you go.
That's one of my most memorable moments, if I'm honest, is seeing when I first started. I remember my old boss, Jackie, going through photos, telling me the history. And one of the photos that I saw was of you at 10 Downing Street with the medal.
That was good. That was you know, it was a good day out, and it's the people you meet in their ordinary capacity as whatever they're doing, and especially if you're in the same job doing the same thing, you know, and someone helps you out and works with you, and you know, you think, yeah, I like the guy. It doesn't matter where he's from or what political or religious or whatever views you hold. Yeah. It's irrelevant because you're just getting on. You're in this microcosm. Yeah, of course. You know, which is the ship or whatever. Definitely.
I mean, so that's a very, very, very memorable one. But I think one that just going to back on is obviously the work with billionaires, and that's really interesting and different.
For a fascinating guy. I went there for a month in 2006, and again, I didn't really. So I used to go out when they had ROV jobs. Yeah. So at the same time, I was at the time. So that was 2006. That's 2008, 2009. A couple of years later, I was almost full time with All Seas. Yeah. And they said, did I want the job? And it was literally half the money that it was for All Seas.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, so before that, I became a sub-pilot. But again, that was a serious amount of lack of money. And again, you know, you think, well, kids going to university and got all this, and you know, really couldn't afford to be a sub-pilot. But I did. Yeah. I did it for a year, and then because there's no diving in the winter training. Yeah. I went off to do this little job for this little billionaire, the third richest man in the world at the time. And over and over, I kept going back and kept enjoying it and doing fantastic dives, you know, just in the most beautiful places. Yeah. And you know, brilliant shipwrecks. You know, on his other ship on the Petrel, we found the Indianapolis. We recovered the bell off HMS Hood, that's now in Portsmouth Naval Museum. And we went back twice, you know, and how many millions it cost Paul Allen to get that? He just wanted it. And he wanted it, and he gave it to the museum. You know? Wow. He's just a great, great man. And we used to do things like the Cannes Film Festival. So because again, you don't really need an ROV pilot or a sub-pilot for a fact film. So we would be the tour guides. So we would do the tour of the ship, and we'd also serve and do, you know, we'd do all the idiot things. Like we'd run the champagne bar. We put all we did all the dressing up of the ship. Yes. You know, we put carpets down, we put flowers in, we had this this chief stew who was an amazing guy, and he would come up with these amazing setups. And we'd be there painting bits of wood and thinking, what the hell have we got here now? And then you put it all together and the lights would go down and you think, well, that's pretty amazing.
Wow.
But you'd meet extremely, I mean, we did the Rolling Stones, met the Rolling Stones. Jathan Strathern, I've poured champagne over him because I was doing the champagne bar at the bottom. And I was literally opening bottles of champagne. Yeah. And he came up behind me, and he was literally that far behind me. Can we have the basketball? If I jeez, oh shit, covered him in champagne, but like not a guy you want covered in champagne. He was actually he was a brilliant guy. Most of them are. Yeah, we've literally the you know, again, you know, all the great and the good, you know. Like I say, we had a fifth of the world's wealth. We had Bill Gates, we had Warren Buffett, we had all the, you know.
And literally, yeah, so that's the thing, like you said, there's no 2 days are the same. One day, you can
exactly.
be.
And that's I carried that on, you know. It's like, well, what do you want to do today? Not what I did yesterday.
No, do you want to be, you know,
do you want to do the same job every day? No, I don't. You know, and I'm prepared. The thing is, it's like anything else. You have to get yourself in that situation, and B, you have to go, I won't chase the money. Yeah. If you chase the money, if I'd stayed with Aussies, I'd be a lot wealthier than I am now. Mm-hmm. Definitely. But I wouldn't have had the life. I've got a lifetime of memories. And again, it's that the wealth is not. You've got to have enough. You've got to be comfortable. Yeah, of course. You know, and the more comfortable you are, the easier it is. But there's also a life, you know, and there's a life to lead. And you know, I do go, I've had enough, and then you go, it's quite boring. You know, I literally did when the whole octopus thing. So I thought, well, I'll just sort of semi-retire. Yeah. And then you sort of get more. You know, you do other things, and you think, I'll just do enough to pay the bills and just to keep that. And you think, and then you go, I miss them. You know, I miss these old dudes. You know, you think, Jesus, it'd be nice to, you know, meet up with them again and blah, blah, blah. And so you think, well, okay, let's go back to work, do a bit more. Because again, it's not work's fun for me. Yeah. You know, it's not work as in, oh shit, I'm going to work. It can be. Yeah. Can be, definitely has been in the past. You know, it's definitely jobs I've gone, oh God. And there's plenty of times you've walked on, you know, you've been all full of enthusiasm, you walked on the job and gone, shit, yeah, now I know why I didn't want to come here. Yeah, no. You know what I mean? The rose-tinted glasses comes off and you go, oh yeah. But, you know. It is, and it's interesting, it's refreshing to hear as well, I suppose. It's not always about the money because there's jobs out there that, you know. No, and you can chase the money, and if you, that, you know, there's plenty of people are that way out. Yeah. And there's no harm in that, but it wasn't for me. Yeah. You know, I just thought, well, let's, you know, you get offered a position, or you get offered an opportunity, but, you know, it might be for a university or something, or even for a mate. Yeah. You know, even for someone who goes, I've no money, but I'm going to try to have a go at this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give you a hand for it. You know, I'll give you a week. Because it's you know, A, you're back working with your mate, and B, it's something else. You know, it's another thing you can throw in the pot and go, well, I've had a go at that. Yeah, of course, you know? It is. It's a new adventure, and I think that's what maybe that in the industry we need to see a little bit more of, like we were saying before about the kind of the new kids on the block. I think, if you know, it is that diversity. Yeah. And it's certainly diversity of travel. Of course. And travel does make you. It does. You do realise that the whole world is one blue marble. Yeah. You know, and you do go to the fact that you go, I've been lost in the middle of China, trying to find a shipyard that and I don't speak Chinese and there's no signs in English and I'm not really sure, and somebody will turn up, you know. So you know, I mean, I've literally been in getting my hair cut in China. Yeah. And I'm like, I just come in for a haircut, chop, chop, chop. No English at all.
Oh yeah.
No. I speak no Chinese, so it's only fair. I'm in their country. So anyway, yeah, okay. So anyway, this guy's whittling away at me. Yeah, whatever, carry on. And it's like there's a head massage and a shoulder massage and the hair wash, and it's like Jesus, just cut me hair, yeah. And he's whittling away, and this little, it should be about 12 or 13. This little girl comes up and she said, "He wants to make your hair black." I'm like, no! Because of course every grey man gets their hair dyed in China.
Oh,
They all
yeah.
dye their hair, so it's like,
It is. It's just them experiences, and I think that
it's lovely.
it's, again, because we're moving with the times, I suppose. It's a lot easier to do that these days.
Yeah, you've
because
got Google Translate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And even traveling, I suppose, there's that many. There's that many cables being laid. There's that many projects going on. We need, we need the energy. We need the power. We need the connections in the internet.
It's quite funny because like you think the Starlink or doopy, but it's not. It's nowhere near. It's like, it's amazing when you go, when you've been in the cable industry, you think, oh yeah, everything goes, everything.
Yeah.
Every bank's connected. Every bank has a permanent connection to another.
Yeah.
They don't ever break the connection. It's a permanent line that's on all the time.
Yeah, and
it's just like you think, how many, you're looking at a pair of fibres and you think, well, 7 million, I mean, it would be more than 7 million now. I'm going back 10 years probably.
Yeah.
And it was 7 million simultaneous telephone conversations down one pair of fibres. 7 million.
Wow.
It's like, how?
It is.
And it's like, whoa.
And for you guys, and I suppose as you're the subsea crew that are laying these cables, what does that feel like knowing that,
Well, it's quite good because back in the day, we occasionally got, they plug it in and we'd have internet on the ship. Not often, but yeah, occasionally. But yeah, again, it's not. It's a black rubber type thing that's going over the back and you're burying it.
Yeah.
Or you're picking it up or you're repairing it or, And again, it's like that industry itself is so varied. You can get on a big lay and you're at sea for a couple of months, crossing the Atlantic at half a knot. Literally just going nowhere, just drifting a lot, you're just edging your way closer to America or wherever, or across the South Pacific or wherever. Doesn't matter. You're outside of land, so. And for months, or you go on a cable repair and they fly you out to Singapore.
Yeah.
You're in Singapore for, you're literally taken out by fishing boat to the get on board, do the repair, and then you've got a few days to relax and get sorted, and then you're home again.
It is.
You can do a week or two, and it's the difference of the job.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all physically an ROV job.
Yeah.
But it's the difference of the job. Or you can go and work for a billionaire, or you can go and work in the oil and gas and earn the money, and or the wind farms, and
That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing of you just kept coming back, and I know half of that is because of Debbie, Liz, and Roger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's who you trust.
It is.
And the thing is, if you trust people and people don't let you down, then you carry on trusting them.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how easy it is to break that. That love bond, because it's a bond. It's I'm putting my safety in your hands.
Yeah.
If I get to an airport and there's no plane, there's no, whatever. There's. I mean, you can put it in the hands of travel agents and all that, but at the end of the day, if they don't perform, you've got to then go, that's all right, we'll sort it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the thing. If somebody when you're away, you're getting stressed. If somebody comes up and goes, it's all right, we'll sort it, then it's all the difference in the world.
It is, and having that agency, that it's something that's always been instilled in us here at LSP, and from previously at Roomic, is to be that person there for you guys at the end of the phone. Because like you said, some of these jobs are hard. You go through these horrible times, and
COVID.
Yeah, some of the hard times that you guys go through, and again, going back to the isolation, and COVID is one of the first things that come to mind.
Yeah.
Is that
When COVID, so the major job, so I was in Fort Canaveral. I say Fort Lauderdale, but it wasn't Fort Canaveral, which is just off Cape Canaveral, which is where the rockets go off.
Yeah.
And we were there, and we'd literally gone in there because of COVID, and we were trying to keep the ship manned. So there was 2 of us on board, and it got on and on and on and on and on. We get, restrictions got more and more.
Yeah.
And eventually we flew out, and I think we were the last flight out of Miami to London anyway, for a long time. And the airport was empty. It was like a real movie, it's like a disaster movie. There was 20 people at Miami Airport. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of Miami Airport or been through Miami Airport. It's millions of people.
Yeah.
And the other one was with the working for FET, going out to do the Vietnamese sub-rescue system in the middle of COVID. So basically, it was still total lockdown.
Yeah.
For most places, and certainly for Vietnam. But because it was military, because they had special permission, they managed to get us out. But basically, it was landed into a hazmat suit, into the back of an ambulance, into literally an enclosed air proper thing, into this hotel room, shut in the hotel room, 3 weeks. 3 weeks of just in a hotel room with Vietnamese TV. There was a bit of internet, but it wasn't much.
Yeah.
But literally on your own, it was, I worked out I was not very good company. Terrible. And I am quite a sociable person in some ways.
Yeah.
But I can be on my own. I don't mind it. I quite enjoy being on my own, but not for 3 weeks.
No.
You know what I mean? But again, it was a great job, great experience. Working with the Vietnamese Navy was a real eye opener. It was great. They're crazy, but have you ever heard of a crew that can decide the future of their captain? They voted whether they keep the captain or not. They can't appoint them.
Wow.
They can vote to get, if they don't like the captain, they go, we don't like him.
Wow.
Okay, someone else will be captain then. And he'll go to another ship.
It's the difference of it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And it's like, again, you go out, you're allowed out in the streets after I think we had a month in total before we were out.
Yeah.
And fantastic people. You're not in a tourist area.
No.
You're in a city, and a bit like Barrow, an industrial area in Vietnam, shipyard, and lovely people, And you think, well, they're scared to death because there was no vaccine at that time.
Yeah.
It was pre, and again you go back and you think, oh yeah, that was when it was scary.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, and then there's a vaccine, and then there starts to be hope and everything else. But at that time you thought, is it the end of the world? Is everyone going to suddenly, is it going to be the plague? We're going to lose a third of the population. And it turned out it wasn't, but it damn well could be. Really, it's like one of them things, it's like, it's all the security that goes on, it's like the build up of arms. It's, well, you've got to look at the other enemy as well,
Yeah, it is. It's again, it seems to be a theme here, with especially Subsea, is take the bad with the good. Yeah, you spent, you spent 3 weeks.
Any job, there's a downside to it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
There's nobody, literally you can think you've got them. One of the first jobs I ever had when I was still at school was working for Dynarod.
Oh, yeah.
Which is drain cleaning, which is pretty grim at times. right? It's very grim at times. But there's other times where you go up on the fells and you're clearing a water tank, a water separating tank, and you literally you put the pump into it, you shut the water off, you put a pump in to empty it, and you go for a walk for 2 hours through the woods.
Wow.
Or you take the boss's dog, which is what I used to do. I used to take the boss's dog. Bosses used to have this big mastiff dog, and I used to go off. I got paid for it. And at other times, you're not doing it. You're working up to your armpits in.
Of course.
But again, there's good and bad with every job. It doesn't matter. You just got to find a job that. Well, I think just keep finding jobs. I'm not very good at. I was on Octopus for 20 years.
Yeah,
really. I've still been on there for 20 years. So I do keep jobs, but again, there's other. You go off and do something else in the meantime.
Of course.
You know what I mean? You go, well, that's that, and then somebody says, well, do you fancy a week doing this? And you go, yeah.
Yeah, it's keeping it interesting.
I've got my houses. I've got others. I do properties. I've got my own little engineering company where I make little bits and bobs for people. I've got my own lathe and my own milling machine and all that rubbish, and I just carry on.
Yeah, it's nice to hear such positive things.
Yeah, work's great.
Said, work is fantastic. I suppose, obviously, you've been in this industry a while, like we've said.
Yeah.
And you've had a hell of an experience while you've done it.
Yeah, I have.
People that, are potentially interested in the industry, looking to come into this industry, because we all know we need the young ones.
And it is that. And the thing is, I would say it's a perfect answer to avoid AI. Right? AI isn't going to go offshore and run an ROV.
No.
Right? It isn't. 30 odd years ago, we had where you can run an ROV from home.
Yeah.
You can. You can't fix it though.
Exactly.
You can't top the comps up and do the maintenance.
Yeah.
So you've got to be there. And it's exceptionally well paid. You get a lot of time off. It's a balance. It's a balance that the fact you're away from home, but you're also meeting new people, new experiences, traveling the world. You're being paid to travel the world, and quite often, you'll sit in port for a couple of weeks or whatever, and you can go off on adventures.
Oh yeah, I hear all about these adventures.
Yeah, sometimes it gets you into trouble.
Getting good with the bad.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're on the outskirts of New York in a car and someone says we're sailing and you're not supposed to be more than 10 miles from the ship. There's four of you in a taxi going to New York. Yeah. Anyway.
We
got back.
Such an interesting life that you could lead.
It's a great big adventure. It is that, indeed that.
And what advice would you give to somebody then that maybe wants to go on to this adventure?
If you're start with the trade or something like that.
Yeah.
So electrician, mechanic, anything that's hands-on, because the piloting thing is it's either you have it or you don't have it. If you don't have it, you'll learn it.
Yeah.
So some people get it straight away. Some people it takes. I took a while to learn it.
Yeah.
But once I had it, it's easy. I had it. Once you get it into your head that you're basically in that machine down the bottom of the sea, and it's very you put yourself in there. You disappear down that rabbit hole and go down there. But get yourself some sort of trade, or if you are of a certain trade, and it's like you're a plumber, you get bored with being a plumber. Electrician, you think, well, I want something else.
Yeah.
Or electronic, especially electronic, even that, we've had guys out the forces, they tend to like it because again, they're used to the travel.
Of course.
But basically don't go and think you're going to like it, but you will learn to like it. You'll learn to go, you instantly get there and think I'm trapped. I'm trapped. I can't go to the pub. Can't go out. Can't walk. I can't walk more than 100 yards in any direction. But you've learned beyond that, and you'll come out of a night time and you look at the stars, and it'll be. I mean, the best I've ever seen the Northern Lights were on a rig in the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
It was a movie. It was a platform, so it was a semi-sub.
Yeah.
And the captain, the semi-sub, put every light out on the ship. We all lay on the heli deck, watched the Northern Lights for an hour and a half, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. And again, you can't do that. You can't book a cruise to do that. You can book a cruise to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
But you won't see it like that.
No.
You won't see it on and it is that you go and you see things that no one else has ever seen. It's a different way of traveling. Now you might spend, in a shipyard in Hong Kong, which is like, oh dear me. But again, it's not. It's an adventure. It really is. You go, well, it's not. It's hot. It's greasy. It's this, that, and the other. But it's also somewhere else in the world you've never been, meeting people you've never met before. It's a great opportunity, I think, and it's good money. You get to travel the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at YouTubers now that travel the world and they do it on a pittance and everything else. I think, well, I've done that. I've been paid for it. You know what I mean? I've done all these things, and I've done all great, great adventures. The travel is, you look at a flight to Australia or somewhere and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself here. And then, you get there and or something happens, or you think, oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you forget about that bit. You forget about the bad bit.
Of course. Yeah, you do, don't you?
But again, I'm in Australia.
And you're getting paid to be in there as well.
I'm being paid every day I meet.
Yeah,
I'm paid for, I've paid for me, I was paid sitting on the flight watching a movie.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, so people with trades to, come into to this part of the industry, to come into the subsea industry. I think a lot of the people from my experience anyway as an agent is getting the foot in the door from that. Yeah. So they paid for the certs.
Yeah.
They've come from a trade. Is there any advice or way that you'd think of that could help people, really get the foot in the door?
To get the foot in the door. It literally is. I literally just did. I was down in oceanology because I wanted to go and see some people. I wanted to meet up with some people.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to meet up with again if I hadn't.
Yeah.
So things like that, things like the exhibitions and that. Go and speak to people. Write to people.
Yeah.
If you know somebody in the industry, ask them. Put your CV out there. And be very flexible.
Of course.
Especially for the first job, you might be the 20th person they phoned. Right? You might be the absolute. But if you go, I'll leave now.
Yeah.
Right? If you're flexible, you'll be in. And it's that once you're in, you're in.
Exactly.
Once you've got that first job in, then it's very unusual that you don't get in again. Because you've done it, and it is unfortunate. There have been a few people who've done the courses and everything else and got offshore and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
and unfortunate. But even if that is you, I would say just do it again, because you can just have a bad time. You can get on the wrong. I've never done it. Yeah. I've never been on the wrong boat.
No.
In all my time I've ever been at sea, I've never seen it, but I know it exists. I know there are crews that people go, in the oil and gas there is.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
Oil and gas, I think there's certain companies that they like to torment people a bit, and it's like, you don't torment people, you don't do that offshore.
Yeah,
because you're aware.
That's the thing. Everything, like you said, we've said this already, with technology, times are changing, everything's changing. So years ago, it may not have been for you, but coming back to it now, when things have changed, when you've got more connection, more community.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, you know, it's like any job working away now. Yeah. It's more like a normal person that goes on the road, truck driving, whatever. Yeah. You know, whatever job you do, the going away to sea has become more like, there's more, you know, you're more connected, which is great. I'm absolutely for it. You know, it's like, I would never want to say, let's go back to the old way. It's kind of rubbish. You know, and again, working with, working on yachts, work with a lot of very young people.
Of course.
You know, if you're 30-year-old in the yachting industry, you know, and there's me, you know, I'm granddad. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ. You know, I have underwear older than you. Shut up. And they are great people. You know, they are absolutely, you know, people going about the youth today, I think they're brilliant. I think, you know, and the hard working and the honest and the, you know, the proper, you know, the proper seasiders. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, that is that, you know, it's a great opportunity, I think. You know, you meet people from every planet, every corner of the planet, and you suddenly go, oh yeah, that view I had about this, that and the other,
of course,
is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a wonderful place to be. I mean, you know, you can literally in the middle of the winter, I'll get a job in the Caribbean.
Exactly. Yeah, I might ring you tomorrow for a job in Curacao in December. Like,
literally, I was, you know, looking at Tahiti, and I was like, that's too far. And that's me because I'm old. That's now, you know, I'm like, no, I won't push that one.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on today.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure as well. It's
you know, swing the lamp.
It's been, you know, it's been eye-opening for me as well, just to learn a little bit more about the thoughts on the industry, and hear some really interesting stories.
No, it's great. It's a great adventure.
That's what it is. It's a big, great adventure. I think you're right. I think we need to get some more people in the industry.
Yes, absolutely. Younger, fitter people. They can carry heavy things. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.